welcome to Nugget's Dungeon Terrain. This is episode 127 and it marks the first in a new series where I'm going to be creating some terrain for an Underdark. First the entrance, and this should set the tone for the rest of the dungeon. I want the players to think that they're already inside a cavern, but they're delving even deeper. So the top part of this entranceway will be more like a normal cave, and the bottom will be more in the colour scheme and feel of the rest of the Underdark. On this 6cm thick piece of foam, I'm leaving 2 centimeters for the base and 4 centimeters for the walls. I've created an area that will be roughly 2 inches wide at the entrance, but will also leave enough space for some walls to add on to that extra width. Here's the 2 centimeter base. And here are the walls all cut out as one piece, with just the doorway left behind. Now out of that core of scrap, I'm cutting out the stairwell that will descend into the lower area. I'll then turn the stairs sideways and cut them in roughly ½ centimeter thickness layers, making sure to keep each layer in the same order, one on top of the other, so that they fit back together properly later. I then take the top piece and just cut off roughly the first step. Then I take the second piece and cut off 2 steps, then the third and 3 steps, and so on, until they all add up to a cascading stairwell. And here you can see how all the pieces will fit back together. I've already glued and pinned the main wall using this same Yoo-hoo glue, and now I'm going to stick in the different layers of steps, starting at the bottom and working my way up. Remembering that the top half of the walls and the stairs are going to look like caverns, and the bottom is going to look more like an Underdark with a slightly different colour scheme and tone. I therefore use a different stroke and technique to burn away at the walls and the stairs than I'll be doing on the base. Here I'm using a soldering iron to do that. In this picture you'll notice I've used some artist gel to string together some little strands between the floor and the wall. This is going to be part of the Underdark theme. I've also taken these elliptical beads and trimmed off the edges and stuck them into the walls to look like a strange fungi. The floors of the Underdark are going to be painted with this night sky blue. I'm using only a small amount of this fairly sparingly in the entranceway because this is a transition area. It'll be just enough to blend into the next tile where it will be stronger. You can see that in particular I'm picking out those strands of artist gel that connect the walls to the floor. I want it to look almost like some kind of organic web-like structure growing on the surfaces of the Underdark. On the second run through, I go over the fungi with a fluorescent purple. And while the fluorescent purple is still wet, I go over it with some pearlizing medium. Normally you're supposed to mix this with the paint, but because it's still wet, I'm just blending it together. I then take blobs of this glitter gel and place them at the top of these strands. Now onto the second room in this series. This is going to be a corner piece and is going to feature two aspects of the Underdark terrain that I want to emphasize. One is the remains of the bones of some large creature, and the other one is lots of spider webs. So, having cut up most of the pieces of this Halloween bat decoration, I then separate the rib cage using this Dremel tool. You can't really tell from this angle, but this bone is going from the bottom of one side to the top of the other. I wanted to have a variety of different angles and make it feel claustrophobic, as if the warriors had to climb through all of the different bones. Once this artist gel is dry, I'm going to paint the whole piece black and then brush over it with that same bluey grey colour as the other room. I'm then going to apply some tacky glue to some of the bone surfaces and walls and stretch out some dryer sheet and attach it to some different areas to create the spider web effect. This is a really fiddly process, and there probably are some techniques that you could pass on if you've done it enough. But the most important thing of all is just to be really patient. Here is the material after it's stuck down to the surfaces, but before I've watered down some PVA and brushed it over to thin it out and make it a little bit stringier. So thanks for watching. I make 11 pieces for each set of terrain, and that's just 2 down, so that'll give you an idea of how many more videos are coming up in this series. I hope you've enjoyed this start and will join me for the rest of them. See you then.